Hello and welcome. I am a hotel AI expert with extensive experience in modern hospitality operations and performance support.
I am pleased to welcome all students of Europe Hotel School to your online learning journey. We truly look forward to supporting your professional growth in the hospitality industry.
Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today's syllabus maps out our journey from the absolute basics right through to those all-important guest outcomes. We'll be covering our Welcome to Europe Hotel School, defining a hospitality, empowerment, leadership and structured autonomy, building psychological safety, and finally, the guest experience impact.
To kick things off, welcome to Europe Hotel School and your online learning journey. Our main goal for this module is to equip you with highly practical knowledge. We are laser-focused on strategies that plug directly into real, high-end hotel operations and modern AI-supported practices. Because as future hospitality leaders, mastering these internal dynamics is exactly what's going to elevate your operational success.
Moving right along to defining hospitality empowerment, the engine of luxury service. In the modern luxury space, empowerment isn't just some corporate buzzword. It is a massively powerful driver of engagement across the whole organization.
Let's break down the core definition here, giving employees the authority, confidence, and support to make decisions related to their specific roles. Just think about it for a second. In a luxury hotel, your frontline staff are the ones looking a weary traveler in the eye after a grueling 12-hour flight. Now, when you empower that front desk agent to instantly upgrade a room, maybe waive a minor fee, or comp a meal without having to run around tracking down a manager, you're unlocking incredibly fast problem solving. It transforms a standard transactional moment into an act of genuine hospitality. You're proving to the guest, right then and there, that their comfort is your absolute top priority.
Now, what's really interesting about this operational contrast is how stark it is. On one side, you've got organizations completely bogged down by excessive approval processes. We've all seen it, right? Imagine a guest waiting 10 minutes just to get a late checkout approved because the agent has to radio a supervisor who's stuck on another floor. It's slow, it's restrictive, and honestly, it's universally frustrating for the guest. But flip that around to decision-making autonomy. It is incredibly responsive. When your team is actually trusted to use their own judgment on the spot, they resolve issues instantly. They feel valued and highly competent. And that vital trust? It dramatically boosts both their daily motivation and long-term accountability, turning a potential service failure into an immediate win.
But hey, we really need to clear up a very common and frankly kind of dangerous misconception here. Empowerment is absolutely not a lack of standards. True empowering means establishing clear, robust guidelines. We're talking predefined financial limits or specific service recovery frameworks where your team can safely exercise their discretion. It's basically giving them a structured playground to operate in, rather than just tearing down all the fences. When your staff knows exactly where their boundaries are, they can act decisively and with total confidence, making sure those high brand standards are met while still delivering that customized care we all want.
Which brings us perfectly to our next section, leadership and structured autonomy. Because empowerment needs the right environment to grow, and leadership plays the central role in making sure autonomy doesn't just feel like utter chaos.
There's a really delicate balance required here, built on 3 equal pillars: structure, flexibility, and support. Elite institutions like Europe Hotel School London point out that hitting this exact equilibrium is the absolute hallmark of effective hospitality leadership. You can't just hand over the keys and walk away without building the framework first. Structure provides clear direction, flexibility leaves room for human empathy in the service, and continuous support ensures your team never, ever feels abandoned out there on the front lines.
So how do leaders actually pull this off? Well, it unfolds in 3 vital steps. First, communicate expectations clearly. Show your team exactly what a 5-star standard looks like in reality. Second, provide the training to build their confidence. Look, without rigorous role-playing and scenario-based prep, autonomy just feels like abandonment. And for a new hire, that is incredibly overwhelming. And third, frame errors constructively. Say a junior concierge makes a slight reservation mistake while juggling a super complex request. A truly strong leader frames that as a valuable coaching moment, not some punishable offense. That kind of psychological safety is what deeply encourages initiative and creative problem-solving down the line.
And speaking of constructive framing, that leads us right into Section 4, building psychological safety. This concept is the absolute foundation of trust. It is the essential bedrock if you want empowerment and learning and development to actually function in your hotel.
Here are the essential elements to make that safety a reality. Your team absolutely has to feel safe speaking up about broken processes or operational flaws.
They need to know they can take swift action to wow a guest without the fear of ridicule or some unfair consequence if their totally well-intentioned idea doesn't pan out perfectly. When employees make independent decisions, they gain this invaluable real-world insight that you literally cannot teach from a manual. But they are only going to take that initial leap if they feel completely protected by their managers. Supportive feedback is the engine driving this continuous learning. When leaders react to a misstep with curiosity instead of criticism, you cement lifelong loyalty.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, the guest experience impact. This is where we pivot from internal team dynamics to the ultimate result. How do these internal leadership habits actually affect the guest walking through your gorgeous lobby doors?
Let's see how this progression builds step by step. We call this the empowerment ripple effect. It kicks off internally with the employee action. They use their autonomy to solve a complex guest issue all on their own. Boom, that immediately shifts their psychological state. They build a much stronger emotional connection to the property. They start seeing themselves as vital contributors and true brand ambassadors, rather than just task doers. And that deep enthusiasm, it flows straight into the guest outcome. The guest gets a timely, friction-free solution and a deeply authentic human interaction. Ultimately, empowered employees are just way better equipped to exceed expectations, simply because they're actually emotionally invested in the final result. By bringing these practices to life, we are fundamentally transforming hospitality roles from basic repetitive task execution into genuinely meaningful careers. To put that into perspective, did you know that luxury hotels with high employee empowerment report up to 50% lower staff turnover? It's a total game changer. It's a systemic approach that benefits literally everyone involved. Employees find real purpose in their day-to-day work, leaders build highly capable, resilient teams, and the guests experience unmatched, memorable service. And that is exactly what drives massive operational engagement and fierce, long-term brand loyalty.
Well, that brings us to the end of our module. But I want to leave you with a vital question to chew on as you gear up to lead in these bustling, high-end environments. How will you implement structured autonomy in your future management roles to elevate the guest experience? Really think about it, because embracing these principles is exactly what will set you apart as a visionary leader. Thank you so much for engaging with this explainer today, and we wish you the absolute best in your continuing educational journey.